I was in middle school, sitting down on the couch watching TV when I came across this new Lifetime show. There was this screaming dance teacher, Abby Lee Miller.
Chloe was awful today.
The traumatized dancers.
Suck it up. I don't want to see those tears.
Stop crying. It's making it worse.
And let's not forget about the reason behind the title, the dance moms.
Melissa is sneaky and she lies.
Kristi is just jealous.
I think they're both crazy.
This week, we have been blessed with a 2-hour reunion special just 5 years after the show's season finale. If you're unfamiliar, Dance Moms aired for 8 seasons and documented the lives of dancers in Pittsburgh at the Abby Lee Dance Company. Dance Moms is known for its screaming matches between the moms and Abby and the controversies surrounding Abby's harsh teaching methods. Some of Abby's methods included the outfits she chose for the girls, the verbal abuse towards the girls, and the derogatory comments about their weight or appearance. The youngest on the show, Mackenzie, was only 6, and the oldest, Brooke, was 13. Although the charges were dropped after a year, there was even a point in season 4 where Kelly Highland, Brooke and Paige's mom, was charged for hitting Abby during an altercation.
Is your mother
Get your finger out of my face!
Girls out the room.
Yeah. This was also the final straw for the Highland family, and they departed the show and filed a lawsuit against Abby in October of 2014. In this lawsuit, Kelly alleged that Abby had thrown a chair at Paige while filming on top of the other insults and abuse Paige faced under Abby's teachings. This lawsuit was dismissed due to insufficient evidence. Funny enough, Abby did end up going to jail in 2017 for a year after being charged for bankruptcy fraud and concealing income. And while the Highlands will be there for the reunion, the full cast will not. The only original cast member that will be featured is Chloe, my personal favorite star of the show. The remaining members that will be featured are Kendall, who joined the Dance Moms cast in season 2, and then there's Kalani, who joined in season 5, and finally, we unfortunately cannot forget JoJo Siwa, who we all know today. Like Kalani, JoJo did not join the cast until season 5. Shocking to me, Abby will not be attending, and according to People magazine, an anonymous source told them some of the cast members specifically requested Abby not be invited. Sadly, Maddie, Mackenzie, and Nia, all original cast members, will not be joining. However, I understand that everyone processes things differently, and that not wanting to be a part of this toxic environment anymore is perfectly okay. Kalani and JoJo are the only two that still speak to Abby. All right, with all that background in mind, let's start watching the reunion. The episode opens with an introduction of each person. Chloe is now 22 and is about to graduate from Pepperdine. Her mom, Kristi, will not be attending as she is filming for a new show she's hosting called Dance Moms Epic Showdowns. Brooke is 25 and her sister Paige is 23. Their mom, Kelly, is in attendance. Kalani is 23 and brought her mom, Kira. JoJo is 20 and arrives with her mom, Jesselyn. And finally, Kendall is 20 and is on her college's dance team. She's with her mom, Jill. I will say the introduction of this is already dragging quite a bit. After the girls introduce themselves, it switches to personal vlogs of them sharing how nervous they are and how crazy all of this is. And then they begin walking into the studio and the introductions continue. Finally, about 17 minutes in, which includes the commercial break, the true reunion begins.
Cheers to Dance Mom!
They get straight to it by mentioning the missing members, Maddie, Mackenzie, and Nia. I think Paige says it well.
Some people might still be processing, and it's hard to talk about some of the stuff that we went through.
Kendall goes for a different approach.
Don't talk about Dance Moms if you don't want to be a part of it.
Right.
Why are you talking about it if you don't want to be a part of it?
And JoJo also goes low.
Them not being here is kind of like, let me erase my past, pretend it never happened, shove it down the drain.
I'm not too sure they're completely shoving it down the drain or not acknowledging this show shaped a part of who they are. As Paige said, it's likely that they're just processing and find it difficult to talk about what happened on the show. It's a weird start to already be dissing them. But the drama heightens when the producer reveals they had a reunion at Maddie's house the night before. And as you can see, JoJo and Kalani are not featured in the photo. But it seems everyone agrees this was Melissa's doing. Melissa is Maddie and Mackenzie's mom, and probably the most insufferable mom who was ever featured on the show. Kalani, Kelly, and Kristi, via FaceTime, all agree Melissa did this to make sure no one talks badly about her girls at the reunion they did not want to attend.
Melissa has been orchestrating and playing everyone as long as I've known her.
They then dive into the rivalry all viewers know. Maddie versus Chloe.
You went backstage before something and said, be like Maddie. Who does that to a kid?
Chloe admits she almost did not attend this reunion just out of fear of being reminded of the constant comparison she faced as a child. But in my opinion, Chloe was always the sweeter kid. Like when she was told her solo beat Maddie's, but there was an error in the scoring and it turned out Maddie had actually won.
I was a little upset, but I was really happy for Maddie.
However, the reunion shows a clip that no one remembers where the judges thank Abby for bringing this to their attention. This leads current day Chloe into believing Abby changed the scores.
I think she was willing to do whatever it took to make sure she got the outcome she wanted.
We all saw how much the rivalry affected the girls on the show. But to see evidence that points to Abby truly caring more about Maddie is at minimum upsetting, but I think it's just disgusting. They were little kids.
I thought it wasn't enough, like in every single way.
But the girls are all there to hype Chloe up and appreciate the true talent she was and the beautiful woman she's grown to be. Now we transition over to Brooke and Paige to talk about their final moment on Dance Moms, when Kelly hits Abby. That moment was also the end of their dancing careers. For background, Abby decided to give Brooke's solo to Kalani, a brand new dancer to the team at the time.
No, I didn't, dingbat. Listen!
And the violence ensues. It's clear that nobody is proud of that moment, and it affected them greatly.
I pretty much felt guilty for the past 10 years of my life.
The producer then brings in Kalani so Brooke can ask her if she knew she was her replacement when she joined the team. JoJo joins Kalani as moral support.
It wasn't anything other than I love to dance and Abby loved me, and if I was given the opportunity, I was going to take it.
For further background, Abby found Kalani on season 2 of Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, or AUDC. She did not teach or train Kalani at all. On the flip side, Abby was not only Brooke and Paige's dance teacher since they were toddlers, she was also their moms. Then Kalani's mom and Kelly began arguing because a lot of the blame is put on Kalani when Melissa was aware of the entire replacement scheme from the beginning.
She knew that the whole reason why Kalani was coming in was to beat you.
Paige and Brooke then clarify with Kalani that they knew it was not her fault. They just wanted to know if she was aware that she would become their replacement. Kelly then joins the girls to continue talking about the fight. She mentions how she feels like she ruined their lives and dance careers because of that moment. But Paige replies that she feels that if she were in Kelly's shoes, she would have acted 10 times crazier in order to protect her kids.
I don't know, I just feel like what I did totally changed your life.
For the better.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this moment is Kelly is seeming to forget how much Brooke was beginning to hate the commitment dance took. She missed all of the high school things she wanted to go to because of dance, and leaving that studio allowed her to experience those things. Shifting gears, they begin to focus on some of the good Abby gave them, and a montage of funny moments plays.
I think it's nice to remember those moments.
Those good moments.
Now they transition to Kendall and talk about when her mom, Jill, made her leave Abby for the ever so iconic candy apples. This was following a week of Kendall working really hard and still ending up at the bottom of the pyramid. The pyramid is a ranking system Abby used to announce who was the best dancer the week before.
We are going to one of those studios. I'm not putting up with this crap anymore.
But they didn't remain at Candy Apples for long and returned to Abby.
I am not allowing this woman to talk to my child like that.
And now it's Jill's turn to go in and join the girls.
You have to learn how to deal with it, and I'm so proud of you.
No, I'm not gonna cry.
Then they transition to Kalani and talk about how she was a favorite of Abby's. Abby liked her mom too.
She wants to be Kalani.
And now, the world's favorite, JoJo Siwa. They play one of the most iconic clips from the show, where JoJo interrupts Abby while she's talking to the choreographer.
JoJo!
get a part that was huge during the promotion of the special.
To me, Abby was always right.
The girl's silence is deafening.
She wasn't just yelling at me because she wanted to yell at me. I actually was a mess and was a beat off.
She goes on to explain that Abby's behavior is normal in the industry, and this experience taught her how to handle it. From my perspective, I just think it's a shame this is how young athletes everywhere are treated, and it is something we've normalized. Jesselyn then mentions how Abby had all the girls say something negative to JoJo in order for her to earn her dance jacket.
The first reason is sometimes she's very loud.
The moms try calling Jesselyn out for branding JoJo so well because she had all of those prior seasons of Dance Moms to learn from before she joined. But Jesselyn completely denies having any extra motive outside of getting her child on a TV show. They cut back to JoJo, and I want to be very clear here. This girl drives me nuts. But I want to emphasize here that she is so used to being so adored by her family, and she is so self-obsessed that she knows what happens in every clip the moment it starts.
You put a 4-inch crown on her head. She did a good job.
And it keeps going.
She deserves nothing.
However, I will say this is one of my favorite moments from Dance Moms.
You can't stand here and cry.
Well, if you yell at me, I'm gonna cry.
I am not lying when I say this clip played in my head over and over when I went to basic training. JoJo really spoke to me with that one. Then they talk about how JoJo left the studio after Abby tried to get her to do a ballet routine. At least that's how the show framed it. In reality, she accepted a deal with Nickelodeon. What is so odd about JoJo is that she currently has a close relationship with Abby. It is insane to me to see how she was treated by her, and now she's talking about casually texting her. I don't understand. But this is why I love Chloe.
I went on to be successful in spite of her.
Period, girly. But of course, JoJo had to fit it in that she is, in fact, gay at some point.
Your knees are about as straight as Elton John because I didn't understand it till I came out.
Breaking news. One does not learn of Elton John's sexuality until they themselves join the LGBTQ+. Then they have a hard transition to talk about Abby's cancer diagnosis in 2018.
I was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma.
Abby went through a lot throughout her chemo, and this is the reason we now see her using a powered wheelchair. But as JoJo has famously said, karma's a bitch.
Karma's a bitch. I should have known better. That's what I gotta say to that.
In a shocking moment, well, at least it was shocking for me, was Kelly saying that if Abby called up and apologized, she would forgive her.
If she would apologize to me, I would be friends with her.
That just goes to show how much history those two have and how much Abby hurt Kelly, but that ultimately Kelly misses having Abby in her life. And now for the moment I was personally waiting for, when JoJo called out Chloe's mom on TikTok. In Kristi's video, she was claiming Gianna, one of the choreographers, was not a nice person, and JoJo wasn't having it.
That is absolutely the most disgusting and ignorant thing that I have heard anybody say.
She argues in the TikTok that Kristi saying she isn't nice wasn't fair or okay, and that everyone has their bad moments, but that doesn't make them not nice people. It's a fair argument, but obviously she addressed it horribly. The comment from Kristi came from a Zoom that someone recorded and JoJo made it into something. But she admits she doesn't regret posting it, and they move on. Also, JoJo is the definition of if it didn't happen to me, it didn't happen. She did the exact same thing in the Colleen Ballinger situation. They talk about Abby's little criminal moment when she went to jail for 366 days for bankruptcy fraud in 2017. Just saying that out loud makes me feel like I made it up. But there really isn't much to talk about, so the girls just make a joke about Abby using the pyramid on her fellow inmates.
She's like, and on this Monday we have pyramids, and you're at the bottom.
I wish that actually happened, but the conversation continues and they move on to talk about forgetting solos. I think JoJo truly believes she is inspiring with her little comments throughout this whole special, But I just find it so annoying how she speaks for everyone. Like, this is her talking to Paige about when she forgot a part in her solo. Reminder, Paige and JoJo never danced together.
It was such a moment. It really made you invested in you.
What is Girly saying?
You now became the girl that we all loved and rooted for.
And related to.
All right, that part was sweet. They move on to ask Chloe about her girlfriend, Brooklyn. They've been together for 3 years.
I'm so sure of myself, like I know who I am.
But the producer isn't messing around and mentions how Kristi wasn't originally accepting of her daughter being gay.
I think she was just really worried for me, like the judgment I would face.
But Kristi changed her thoughts and even left Chloe this cute little message.
When you announce to the world that you were with Brooklyn, that is just the most admirable thing in the world.
Chloe also mentions that her mom used to mold herself a lot to fit into the world and was scared that Chloe wasn't doing that. But she's changed and grown and learned. When Kalani gets asked what her favorite dance of the show was, she excuses herself to the bathroom and explains her mom doesn't even know about this. Then the show cuts to commercial. It turns out she was going to talk about a dance they did in season 6 titled Suicide Hotline. She shares that she has used it. Not only that, but the use of the hotline drastically increased after this episode aired, so it wasn't a light topic for anyone. But Kalani powers through and joins the girls in watching the dance. This is where Kalani shares her past about struggles with suicidal thoughts. Please know, if you ever need help, the suicide hotline is now 988.
Listen, I'm proud of you. I just want you to know that.
So, what does the future hold? Well, Chloe drops this crazy news.
So I created Elevate National Dance Competition.
The purpose of this is to bring positivity and support to one another. Fortunately for all of us, JoJo has been working on 23 songs. Kalani has a self-care beauty company called Care by Kalani, and that concludes the reunion. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I am amazed at how quickly this channel is growing, and I am so excited to see where this all goes. I hope you have the best day. Bye.